This is the second video in a series that shows how measure and capacity are taught in primary school. Here I will look at years 3 and 4 where they build on what they learnt in Key Stage 1 to now taking a more detailed measuring by recording mixed measurements. They'll also be taught to convert between units, and I'll briefly cover perimeter and area as this is another topic that's introduced in these years. Whereas in Key Stage 1, children were taught to use comparisons as a measure and were measuring to the nearest number in standard units, children in years 3 and 4 will now start to measure to a greater degree of accuracy. First, we'll look at measuring. So just as in Key Stage 1, your child should be given lots of practical experience measuring objects in the home with a ruler or a tape measure, and should be now recording as a mixed measurement by calculating the intervals using metres, centimetres and millimetres, litres and millilitres, kilograms and grams. And they should also be able to order the objects according to their length, mass and capacity using the inequality symbols that we met in the earlier video. One of the key questions to ask your child here is, what is the difference between capacity and volume? And capacity is the amount of liquid a container can hold, and volume is how much liquid there is in the container. Your child should build on the mathematical vocabulary of lighter, heavier, full, empty that they learnt in Key Stage 1, so to now understanding that kilograms are used for heavier objects and litres are used for larger containers. They can then compare mixed measurements using inequality symbols. For example, here we have 1 kilogram and 400 grams is less than 2 kilograms, and 2 litres is greater than 1 litre and 500 millilitres. Your child also needs to be able to add and subtract mass, capacity and length using mental and written methods taught. And I'll show you the part-whole method here, with my example being 6 kilograms and 350 grams add 5 kilograms and 225 grams. So we can partition the kilograms and grams. On the left we put 6 kilograms and 5 kilograms, and on the right we put 350 grams and 225 grams. We then add the 6 kilograms and 5 kilograms to make 11 kilograms, and then add the 350 grams and 225 grams to make 575 grams. Then we can put the final answer back into the number sentence. Children also need to recognise equivalent units. For example, that 10 millimetres is equivalent to 1 centimetre and vice versa. When looking at lengths in year 3, they will partition the measurement and convert into centimetres and millimetres, and in year 4 that's when they start to begin to use decimals. I just want to finally mention a bit on perimeter and area in these years 3 and 4. Children should be able to calculate the perimeter of different shapes through repeated addition, like in this example here. They add up all the sides to find the perimeter. So 6 plus 7 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 4 equals 26 centimetres. They will also be required to calculate the perimeter with missing sides as well. And then for area, children are taught that it's the amount of space taken up by a 2D shape or surface. So a great activity here is to introduce children to area by investigating different shapes around the house using post-it notes, and they can find out which object has the largest surface area. And this gives the children a real practical hands-on experience of area. And then they can move on to counting squares in different shapes. By counting the shaded squares, including those that are half shaded, children can calculate and compare the total areas of regular and irregular shapes. So I've given you the answers to this one here. The first one being 12 centimetres squared. The second one 13 centimetres squared because it includes the two half squares. And the last one 11 centimetres squared. So that comes to the end of the year 3 and 4 video on measures and capacity, and I hope you found that one useful and look forward to seeing you again soon.